Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and for Ranking Member Bishop for allowing me to sit in on today's hearing and for the other members. And I want to welcome our panelists for being here. Four are from Southern Arizona. We're a long way from home, and Mr. Armenta, it's good to see you as well. I missed Deputy Undersecretary Jay Jensen. I believe he was here earlier, and we had invited him out to come spend some time in the district, having some community meetings, and also meeting with the management of the proposed mine. It was a good day to have him. This was on the heels of a variety of meetings that the Forest Service held, public meetings. I believe there were 6, where we had thousands of people come out and you know, what we do so great in America is really speak our minds, and you know, the discussion was really vibrant. You know, there's an expression that whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, and that's no more the case in the state of Arizona than other areas where water really is a primary issue. We're the second fastest growing state, heavily dependent on the Central Arizona project, and we know, of course, that with 25 million users right now on the Colorado River, with drought, increased temperatures, and more population, that river's beginning to run dry. I understand that Rosemont has pledged to replenish groundwater, but I have some real questions, and I want to begin with Administrator Huckleberry. First of all, is there a requirement for the mine to actually do that? For those of us that, and I'm a third-generation Southern Arizonan, a lot of us have long history in Southern Arizona, what's going to happen? For example, they're saying that the mine is only going to last for 20 years, but we know that, you know, the capital intense amount of work that's put into it, usually it lasts a lot longer. What's the source of replacement for the water? Presumably it's going to be the CAP, but if that's jeopardized, and also because of drought, can you please address that? And also, can you talk a little bit about the water quality? Is it going to be the same water quality for those of us that actually drink our local water? What is that going to mean if this mine is allowed to go through?
Yes, thank you, Congressman Giffords. Let me try and answer that last part first. Obviously, the water they're going to plan to withdraw is groundwater. It's the highest quality water in the basin, and what they're going to then replenish that groundwater with is CAP water. Well, CAP water is good drinkable water. It is poor quality. We would obviously prefer that if the mine operation goes through and they're truly this state of the environment mine they claim to be, they ought to pipe that poor quality CAP water to the mine site and use it. With regard to this whole issue of replenishment, well, replenishment of water, simply saying you're going to take out groundwater and you're going to put some Central Arizona project water in the ground, that's fine if it's in the hydrologic area of influence, meaning where it's taken out and it won't have any adverse impact on surrounding well users or other users of groundwater. In the instant case, they may be recharging CAP water, but they're presently recharging in an area that's 30 miles downstream and about 800 feet lower than the place of withdrawal. That does no good to the local aquifer and replenishment. So I think it's water is probably one of a key important issue, and it's not being at all adequately addressed by this proposal.
Ms. Wolin, do you have additional comments?
I think as farmers, that's our great concern, that we're not playing on a level playing field here. Our product is healthful. It recycles water. It creates carbon sequestration. And 25% of what we use in water goes right back into the groundwater table clean. I think if we as farmers proposed building a mile wide and a half a mile deep pit and filling it with toxic waste and moving on, we would be run out of town on a rail. And I think that's one of our great concerns. I'd also like to say that as a security issue, we're losing 1 to 2 million acres of prime farmland in this country every year. And we don't think that we should import all of our food either. And so that's important. And I'd also like to say that I think that some of the skill that Mr. Armenta mentions among his workers could be put to use with green technologies. And I know that the Congresswoman and Congressman Grijalva have been leaders in promoting solar and cogen and biogen and other technologies of the future that certainly these skilled mine workers could work on.
Mr. Chairman, one more question, please. A lot of talk, of course, is about jobs in the economy, and I know that the proposed mine is estimated to to create, I think, between 400 and 500 jobs, and they're good-paying jobs, Mr. Arment. I agree with you. They're high-paying jobs, and you know, Arizona is named the copper state for a reason. We just don't have copper deposits in a certain part of the state. We're fortunate and blessed to have copper deposits in a variety of different areas of Arizona, and there are a variety of mines that are being proposed, several that I support, and there's several that can be expanded, and we're excited about that expansion as well. Part of the debate that we've been hearing in southern Arizona is what happens when you have a relatively pristine piece of land where you've got property values, you've got a real estate industry, you've got a robust tourism industry that is now, due to these reports, we're getting more information about the economic losses that would occur. For example, there was testimony that the losses would be greater than the entire payroll of the proposed project, and that already just the talk and knowing that this mine is on the drawing board, that we've seen about $5 million in real estate losses for potential sales because people are concerned. Absolutely. So I'm hopeful that, you know, we can hear again, maybe starting with Administrator Huckleberry. I know you've got a budget situation. If you can talk a little bit about that and hear from the other folks as well.
Yes, Congressman Giffords. The key is trying to maintain and grow property values for taxation purposes. We know that just this year, the mines with regard to Sarco and Freeport McMoran and Pima County and the Sarita School District have decreased their value by over $650 million. That's a 32% hit to the tax base of that school district. Those are serious consequences with regard to the economics of our community. We know that the valuable real estate grows next to scenic areas that are preserved, not next to open-pit copper mines.
I think another economic factor we're concerned about is what has happened with some of the other mines. Grupo Mexicano has taken over Sarco. It's gone bankrupt, and so there's no one to do the restoration and the cleanup that was planned. Here we have a foreign-owned corporation with no track record of doing a mine. And we're very worried that if it's just going to be an investment deal and sold again, that all the promises that the original company makes are for naught.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll just make the comment that when I looked at the Arizona Daily Star's list of major employers in southeast Arizona, the 400 employees which the mine was claiming at that time would put them in a tie, three-way tie for 116th place and the list of major employers in Arizona. What that tells me is that the best we can expect economically from this mine is a ripple. It's not a tidal wave, it's a ripple. And you have to balance the jobs that are created by the jobs that are lost. My colleague here on my right has about 250 employees over there on the other side of the mountain that could be placed at risk. I have no idea how many people in the tourism industry might be placed at risk. Those are the negative sides which we have to balance against any positive returns, and quite frankly, I think the negatives are going to win.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Let me just a couple of quick follow-ups. Ms. Walden, first of all, for the record, the legislation that Ms. Giffords and I are sponsoring does not stop Rosemont.
I understand that, and I think we were giving illustrative examples when we said that.
Yeah,
in
just
response to
because
the question.
you know
Yes.
the discussion turned that way, and it, you know, the withdrawal is important. It's important to protect that land, and it will have a mitigating effect on the long term. But I was going to ask, in terms of your business and other growers, this expanded mine operation, the effect?
What we object to is the fact that where we've been farming 100 years in this location with the beneficial use and water rights and invested heavily in this and provided good jobs. All our workers also have health benefits, and many have housing on our farm. That another mine, any mine, can come in, sink a well right next to our orchards and put us out of business. We don't think that's the American way. We don't think that's just.
Mr. Farr, the question, if I may, popular opinion. I mean, it's been brought up that where do the people, Save the Santa Ritas, the hearings that have occurred,
Well, in the hearings
Where are people standing in the Santa Cruz Valley on this issue?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, I can tell you that I'm intimately aware of the politics of Sonoyta and Patagonia, and the sentiment against the mine is absolutely, completely and totally overwhelming.